36,000 years is equivalent to one Shar. That's in their Earth cycle. Now, the Shar is very, 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 very long, it seems like. It seems like a Shar is equivalent to 4 Shars. We don't know what happened in those Shars. They claim they would had the tablet of destiny. These are the same things that happen time after time of time. There was Anzu, he were delivering the ship to Abgal, okay? Abgal, Abgal. It wasn't long before Anzu took the weapons of terror, they claim, okay? These ships was state of the art then, and if they're still around, remember, they will still be state of the art now. They decided that these weapons shouldn't be used in the sky, okay, or on the land. This is very dangerous to cross the hammered bracelet. The hammered bracelet. We are thinking it is the body of rocks, Van Halen belt, if you want to call it Van Halen belt. You can call it meteoroids around the earth. But nobody can get out from that rock station that's around earth, right? But they're calling it, even if you're calling it the hammered bracelet. Hammered bracelet. So they say that that's a hammered bracelet, blocking anything from coming into Earth or leaving Earth. Situated to be with lots of rocks, meteoroids around the Earth. The Asteroid Belt is the name, ladies and gentlemen. The Asteroid Belt is the name. And they're claiming that they went beyond the Asteroid Belt to come here. And it's not the first time it was done. It was seen in the vision before, and they all had studied this, but they didn't know the possibilities of coming here to Earth. So, the words of the Anunnaki was heard in the council in the Bairu, announcing the return of Anzu. I'm going to stop by Anzu for a minute, okay? Remember, in this program, we're trying to find the cities that is not mentioned in the King James Bible story to do with Genesis. This is before. These are the cities before Genesis. Here on earth. Woe be unto the earth, because he will see her down on the earth. So I'll tell you a little story of how all of this happened. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that these things is what we call mythology. And there are a lot of myths inside of these stories that doesn't have nothing to do maybe with the actual story. But there's such a story like this story, and that's why it's mythology. Many myths combine into one myth to tell one story. Within this, we're gonna depict the truth to know whether we're hearing here and if it's this logical. Or the Greeks is saying the same thing. Likewise, the Egyptians are saying the same thing. Likewise, the Sumerians is saying the same thing as well. So it's all of these things, are they combined together to make one? We don't know. So that's why here in Rasta Colony today, we're chasing back the steps to try to understand this. We have the knowledge to know this. Okay? We're going to touch everything, every department to do with before Genesis here on earth. So, in this story, they tried to tell me that there was this man named Alalu, and Alalu was ruling in heaven, ready to take the throne. And as soon as that happened, as soon as he was ready to take the throne, there's a young prince that stepped up and said that he have the seed of the light inside of him. And he is the rightful heir to the righteous seat whereby this man wants to sit. Alalu, no problem. Remember, mythology, okay? So he's gonna sit in that seat. But the prince came and said that his bloodline is more lit than his. And this prince, they call him Anu. Anu, A, beginning, Anu, right? And Alalu had to fight. They had to fight for the throne. They had a tournament to see who is the real legitimate warrior and who can fight and win this tournament to be the rightful heir. Cause all the council had decided that they should make a fight or they should have a tournament, and they had a tournament, and they claimed Alalu lose the battle and he had to give over the throne to the young prince Anu. No problem. We understand that, right? Alalu lose the battle and he had to give over the throne, don't forget, to Anu. Alalu decided that he's going to hand over the throne to Anu. So they claim that Alalu took a ship and leave from Nibiru, heaven, where he was living there. He leave instantly, took one of the biggest ships that he can find and beat far billions of miles all the way from that station, leaving Anu on the throne. And then they had a son. When they do have this son now, this son, they call him, they had two sons also, they call one Inky and one Enlil. They call one Inky and they call one Enlil. This is what we're hearing in the myth, right? No problem. So we got to understand that Alalu, while driving this big spaceship that he took from the Nibiru, that he was driving very fast, he went past many planets, and it doesn't matter how long or how far he have to go, because he just exiled the whole place, give over the throne, lose the battle to Anu, and now he's on a voyage of just fleeing, right? So basically he said he passed this planet, he passed that planet, and he remembers a story that the guys told him when he was younger, the wiser people, they told him that there was such a place that broke off from heaven. And it's very far away, but in the head of it have the most gold. So it claimed that on their planet, before Alalu had leave, that there was a hole in the ozone layer, there was a hole in the atmosphere there, and they used to fill it with volcano ash, or the dust from the volcano used to keep everything good. So I'm thinking today we have to find out what's the property inside of volcano dust. How was it so valid in Nibiru? How was this? Okay, so volcano dust means nothing on Earth, but lava, it's everything. It makes land. It can make you get away from where you're at, move from there. It can move you, or it can kill you, right? So we understand the power of that, but the ash that comes from that makes land that civilization can live on, what's the byproduct of the dust? So it claimed it used to stop the holes in the Nibiru, right? It claims that it used to stop the dust from block the hole in heaven so that no radiation can come in. But the volcanoes never used to erupted. So they claim that they sent in some weapons to disrupt some volcanoes, and some volcanoes was disrupted. And not too long the dust was settled. They couldn't get the dust that they wanted. But they had weapons that they was using. I heard that these weapons was called the weapons of terror. Okay? The weapons of terror is what we have to study. So in unleashing the weapons of terror, the volcanoes, they become very still stagnant, not giving off any power. But they have taught by wise men to the highest of men who has sit as the highest initiate to be kings or rulers. They had known, I've heard of some story about Tiamat or some explosion to do with earth splicing off of heaven, coming down to where it is in the lowest region. Call it a separation. When you do read the King James Version, you're going to see that they said that earth and heaven was split apart. And down below was called the firmament, and up below, but if you check it keenly, you will see some notion of this place is the same place. So what those high men from up there, Alalu and Enki and those guys, and Anu, Alalu learned from Years Shar Time, knowing the skies and its circuits. The knowledge was bantered by Years Shar Time. And those people that sits on the throne, they had known that if they wanted to retrieve gold, they need to find the head of heaven, the place that had fallen off, something to do with Tiamat. Like I said, it was split apart. So that the piece of it that was split apart, this claim, is carrying tons of gold. Metric tons on top of metric tons of gold is here in the earth. Remember, they came to earth seeking gold. Monotonic gold, I told the people, is a superconductive agent. Remember, 100% in is equivalent to 100% out, okay? Check out the word, monotonic gold. This is gold that can be taken interiorly or inside of your body. You can digest it orally. You can digest it orally. You can eat it. Monotonic gold, you can eat it. That's why Moses grind down the gold that the people was worshiping, the calf and stuff like that with, when he came back down from the mountain and feed the people the monotonic gold. Monotonic gold gives you brain capacity. What you didn't know, now you know. 100% in is 100% out. You become like a superconductive agent when you digest this thing. What you didn't know, now you know. But they wanted this gold from earth in heaven. So this guy had to leave the throne. When he left the throne, he beat and came to earth. Very, very fast, very, very rapid. Don't care if life or death. And then they stated that he flew past this planet, that planet. He saw the Orion Belt. He saw they call it the hammered bracelet, or the Van Halen belt. And he said he used the weapons there again that they were using on the volcanoes, something like the weapon of terror. He said he used it there. He blasted the rocks left and right, and he couldn't care what happened. He just went across until everything moved out of his way from his ships, blasting these things. Remember, in the Bible, they always say that when they see these people, there's always some whirlwind or there's some fire. There's always fire, okay? Blazing, blasting. So he came down with his ship, using the weapon of terror, burst through the Van Halen belt. You have to study about every 40 years, and when these things are open and when they're closed back, no guy can really go through there beyond waiting for that period of time to happen. And remember, when those guys are on Earth, their lifespan is 3,600 years, is 1 year in their life. So if they're here doing all of these things 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 99 years, none of this means anything, okay? You hear me? See how long the moon and the stars was there? This is these people lifespan too. Know this. So Alalu blast through the iron bracelet, and he made it here to Earth with his subatomic weapons that he was carrying, right? No problem. These are subatomic weapons, or the weapons of terror, however you want to look at it. These weapons, right, ladies and gentlemen? Alalu said when he made it to Earth, he passed the sun shining there. And when he passed the sun shining, he said he saw a place that he called Lamu. When he saw Lamu, he decided that he saw that was Mars, and then he said he passed one other planet, but he was looking for the seventh planet, which he knew was Earth, because that was the story that the wise men was saying about this gold that break off from Nibiru, and the head of Earth carrying a lot of heaven gold, and if anybody can go beyond the asteroid belt or the iron bracelet, they'll be able to retrieve this gold. Alalu didn't believe or didn't know if it's true, but in blasting and riding the tide, going all there, when he blasted the iron bracelet, he saw Lamu, Mars, and after seeing Mars, fly past Pluto and Neptune, Orion, and the others. Saturn with many rings, Planetary Saturn, they call it. Uranus. You fly past the Giza Plateau. They're claiming that he saw the seventh planet, came to Earth. After he came to Earth, he took off his helmet that he was wearing, claiming that he was wearing an eagle's helmet, eagle bird helmet, right? And a fish suit, something along these lines, right? And then he took off these things when he reached Earth, crashing on down, taking it easy. And when he came to Earth, he saw water, and he saw a snake. He drank water and stuff like that. And he said he killed a serpent because the serpent was hissing, and he wanted to know what was this thing. This is mythology, okay? I don't know, right? So in killing the serpent, he returned back to the ship, and he slept the night, and then quick saw morning was here. And then morning being here, he went exploring with his ship to see if he can find any gold. They claim that he explored the place. He did all of the scientific tests. He extracted crystals, minerals, gold, platinum, all of these different minerals he extracted from Earth, because remember, he's from a different planet with a higher understanding. So in extracting these things from Earth, Alalu decided that a lot of gold is here, and he found gold. First thing up is that they said that he radioed back to Nibiru. No problem. In hearing this, Nibiru answered him and said, what's happening? He said he disclosed to them that he had found gold there, and in finding this gold, it's lots of gold, and he think it would be able to fix the ozone layer, the problem that they have in their atmosphere. No problem. He's telling this to his radio and back to the councils back there. I no heard of this. And Alalu stating, if I replenish you guys with all of Earth's gold, you all will have to let me sit back again on the throne in heaven, because I will fix the problem that we have there. Okay, that didn't sound right to the leader up there, but he said he's gonna send out a couple commanders to see on what's really happening. Same time he's deciding what he's gonna do, one of his sons stepped up and said, I would like to go down there and run a test. His name was Enki, Anu's son. Enki said he would like to go to Earth, the seventh planet, and see what's going on. Remember, they're all beyond the 12th planet, 12th celestial belt. I don't think no guys can go there. It's beyond light years. So they came here. Enki came down. He claimed that he got in his big ship and he came down too as well, and he flew down. And then when he reached the iron bracelet, or the Orion belt, or the Van Halen belt, whatever you want to call it, there's a lot of rocks around Earth, and it's hard for any ship to come in or to go out. So he claimed that Alalu had used fire and the weapons of terror, which nobody is supposed to use those weapons, but he's gonna use water. So he built a ship that can bring water, and he bring excess amount of water and blow away all of these rocks with water. Sound logical, but where did the water go? Where did the water from Inky's ship? Where the water from Inky's ship? Where did it go? Think about the ocean. Think about the sea. Okay, I don't know. But he blasts through the iron bracelet and he get through the rock smooth, and here comes he flow down to earth. Meet Alalu, receive him with joy and everything like that. And then they went landscaping. Then they went doing the scientific research, testing crystallology, and in gold mining and in smelting metallurgy. So they were well educated, way above us in that department, metallurgy. So metallurgy, I said, not mythology, metallurgy, guys. So they was skilled in metallurgy, because still the ships that they're driving or riding on is made of metal. Think of the Antikythera machine, whatever that machine was that they found in the ocean. Metal with gears on it, like a box or a watch or something like this, that's spinning way before BCE. The Antikythera machine came from. But those guys claim that they had metal, and remember today we hear disclosing the cities that they had found before Genesis, and one of the cities was a metal city, strictly industrial. More industrial than Detroit, more metal than what Detroit. More metal than what Detroit have over there. One of the cities on earth was doing that and sending back all the gold and all the metal back to the Nibiru. When Inky came and he saw everything, he radioed back to his father and he go like, yes, we can do the work here, we can mine the thing, and we can search around and get the stuff and get it back home to you guys, no problem. So they claim that they took up a portion, but it wasn't enough. Then they sent back people with them or beings with them to help extract this thing. They've been extracting it for years, my brother. Remember, one of their year is 3,600 years, and they've been down here for millennia before us. All of this gold was reaped way from under the bottom of the ocean, way from anywhere in civilization they could have get it from, and they get it and they sent it back. Time after time after time after time, they sent it back to Nibiru. Now, because things was going so well down here, and everybody was kind of pleased back in Nibiru or back in heaven, they claimed that the hole was fixed and it was getting good, it was getting better and better, but they still needed more gold, but it was working. So they set up some stations down here, which is, this is how we got to the program to disclose these stations, which was cities. We're gonna go into Nippur today. We're going to Shurback. We're gonna go into Shurpak, Lasser, Largish. So these are the cities before Genesis. We are going to go into that. Those are the cities before the Genesis. Okay. So in one of those cities, the claim was Eridu in Iraq, along the Euphrates. That's one of the first cities, or one of the earliest cities, or one of the latest cities that we are meeting there. Eridu is one of them. Write that down. Now, Eridu is going to be controlled by this man, Enki, because he's the first person to set up shop there or something along these lines. And that's going to be his rundown, his house, his abode. And he's going to move from there one day and go into the Abzu, underwater. When he came down in a fish suit and a bird helmet stated on the 9 tablets of creation. The Genesis story is this story. Is it a lie? It is this story. Check Illuma Ilish, the book of all books. That's coming from the tablet as well. That's where your Bible was written from. Septuagint is pyramid text. 77 priests went there to write this on the wall to make sure all of them don't lie. Pyramid text. Anything to do with pyramid is these guys. These are man-made mountains on earth. Those was to bridge heaven and earth together, almost something like the Tower of Baal. Pyramid. Remember, I did this research on the pyramid. And pyramid, the conclusion that Rasta Colony came down with is that pyramid body is onto wire. W-I-R-E, wire. Wire. Pyramid body is onto wire. There used to be stones inside to activate them. Gemstones, precious stones, ruby stones, they all ruined, broken, and no longer there. In the sarcophagi, right there, in the king's chamber, there's a box in there. It's broken too. It's broken, chipped off in the corner. You have to understand the shafts. You have to understand the water below. You have to understand energy. You have to understand this living being called Gaia or Earth. You have to understand another one called Universe. They are all alive. Just like how you're alive. They're inside of you. Just like how you are inside of them. And this is the greatest mystery. How man was made. What is he made up of? So, we're going back into the story to finish up the Alalu story, ladies and gentlemen. So, Inkiruli Obzu, lots of gold, and he sent for his father to come to Earth to visit Earth. Anu is going to come to visit Earth with his wife Antu. Anu married to Antu, and he's going to come to Earth. They said in the Psalms or something like this, in the Psalms in the King James, that when he came down to earth, the earth shook and it trembled. So don't come and tell me he wasn't here. So, how is he coming here? It had something to do with ziggurats or something to do with pyramids or something to do with alignment with the Asteroid Belt or Leo and all of those other Pleiadians, star signals out there to do with zero Chakala or any of those things. These is these is terrestrial being. This word extraterrestrial is new, but the word terrestrial is old. So they're terrestrial being, my brother and sisters, or celestial. So Anu came to Earth and he saw everybody was working hard and things was good. He went back up into heaven. Tell them send more gold, send more ships, more workers. More ships came, more workers came. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ras Marcus live at www.rastacolony.biz. Now they're claiming that when Anu visited Earth, that Alalu attacked Anu and bite him somewhere and spit it out. And that part they say was poisonous, that he got bit. I understand all of that. So now Alalu poisonous part inside of his body because Anu is not going to give up the throne. So they claim that Alalu bit him. And Alalu is going to die because it's the poisonous part that he bit off. In the myth, they claim that they arrested Alalu and they wanted to kill him, but they said no, they're not going to kill him. They decided that when some guys is headed back to Nibiru, they'll put him in a spaceship and they'll flew him back. whenever they're dropping off anything over Mars.
Lahamu.
They'll drop them
Lahamu.
when they're heading
To Nibiru.
Anu have decided this. So Anzu decided he's gonna stay with him because he was an honorable man. So Anu is saying now that at this time, when I built a rocket and they're ready again to pass back to Earth, when we pass back, we'll see to it, I will pick up you from Mars. If you're still alive while you're watching over Alalu body, that's the pilot. Anzu, if Anzu is still alive while he's watching over Alalu's care on Mars, or sufferation while he's in exile on Mars, he's gonna watch over his body. Okay, the claim that he died,
Alalu.
died on Mars.
Alalu.
Died on Mars. The pilot Anzu claimed that he made a face with
Alalu
on Mars. That anybody who's flying over Mars, they can see the face on Mars that flying over there. Now today, now that NASA is stating that they have found a face, even if not NASA or the astronomy community, the people that study in the stars have decided that they have found a face on Mars. So is this mythical or is this true? That's what I'm trying to find out here today. Remember, we're disclosing the cities before the Genesis. How did all of this happen?
Alalu
Died on Mars.
Lamu.
Called Lamu. After his death on Mars, what they're claiming is this pilot put the face made of rock with eyes and mouth and face made of stone, put it right over his coffin or right over his, and made a tomb where he's buried. Today, the community looking up there is stating that they saw or they see or they do have a face on Mars today. So the pilot went back. Anu set back his ship and the ship came back. The spaceship came back and went to Earth, get the gold that they were reaping. Many metric tons, many shars of gold bringing. 1 year in their terminology is
3,600 years.
So every
3,600 years
is their year. How long is that? How many gold can you take back in
3,600 years?
Have you ever seen a train running across a field? A train, many fields, many carts, like 300 carts. That's man-made cart. Now when it's Anunnaki made, or when it's made not from this earth, and we just have 300 carts, so they have hundreds of thousands of carts on their train that can carry metric tons and top of metric tons and top of tons. So when it's megalithic portions, they get the stuff, the gold, and they send it
To Nibiru.
to help heal the planet. They called it the gold of salvation. So the gold of salvation went back
To Nibiru.
They sent it back there, and they claim that there was a tablet of destiny. But the people who was doing the work, they was kind of had enough of too many years, too long. They call them the Watchers, the Sons of God, whatever you want to call them. That lining, those people had enough. They stated that they needed somebody else to do this work. So they went and they cried to Enlil, to Enki. And then they sent Enki's brother now, which one was Enlil, which one was on earth as well. He was Lord. And he didn't like what these people was doing because they was experimenting with a lot of different creatures. So now, there's a time when they needed to stop their labor force from working because they were getting tired. Anu came back down to earth and the labor force, the state, almost destroyed his house. So he held a council and asked everybody what is happening here. and asked them if they can sort this out. He said, yes, they can do something here. I already have something going on. That's what he claims. So they said, let's do something about it. So then they said, come and let us make man. Now, this man that they're going to make, it was just a man like me or you. He was going to be the first. There was other men before, but there wasn't made in the Father's image. We are made in the Father's image. Even if it was made by the Son, who told us to pray to our Father who which art in heaven, that is still his Father, the Father's image. But other things here before was made in other image. Being that there was some other planet. They're probably still on Mars today. I don't know if they have 4 brain, 2 eyes, angelic watchers. I don't know what they would look like. But they're there. It was made. On Alalu, different creatures that they call them the Ajijis. These Ajijis was different than men. And the Ajijis was tired of working for many shars. After one shar,
3,600 years.
that's the span Earth years.
3,600 years.
What is 99 years in their eye? What is 1,000 years in their eye? What is a year in their eye? Nothing. That's why they said, in the Father's eye, 1,000 days is like a day. And it is so in the Father's eye. That's why they have the Black Knight satellite hovering over Earth. Some spaceship satellite up there that nobody can really figure it out. It was there for a long time. People would say, 99 years, 404 years. That's still not long. No, that's not long. That's going beyond your lifetime, because one of their years is
3,600 years. 3,600 years.
When all of this time goes by, these people haven't even done duration. So the Ajijis
Or the Agigis.
was tired of doing the physical labor. Harvesting the gold, grinding it down to make the powder. Then Anu came down, and then they understand that they wanted to cause a havoc. So we have to free these people, and we have to, they was really working long for real. Let's ease them. So let's do something different. So then they started, so let's make man. Now this man that they made, they call him an educated man. They probably call him the
Adamu.
Adam,
Or Adapa.
having the sons Cain and Abel. This is still the same story. It's very close to the Sumerian story. It's on the 12 tablets of creation. Go and try to see the 12 tablets of creation. Get the diary of Enki to understand what I'm saying. Don't just go and get the one tablet. Go and get the 1, 2, 3, 4, straight up to the 10, 11, 12. Get the lot. Get the book, get the tablet. You can put the tablet in your computer now and you can decipher it for yourself. You can know what it's telling you, so you don't have to listen to what nobody's telling you. You can decipher on your own. Go to the website. It's there. Look into these websites to get this education, because education is power. They never said money is power. They said information is power. Tahuti or Toph, study this one. Study Toph. Thoth. Study him. Find out about the Ankh and the Receptor. Find out about the keys of life and death. Find out about that, or the flower of life, or the fruit of life. Find out about the flower that was taken from Gilgamesh, that the snake or the serpent ate in the water that he could not go into. Being that he was in the boat, he had to stay in there. And remember, he spent 100 nights in the forest, cutting down logs to make this boat to take him across the ocean. And those are some of the darkest nights that he went through. He went through the coldest of cold, the frostest of frost, the scorches of cold. All of this thing he did to go into death to find out what happened to his friend Enkidu. Gilgamesh was half god, half man. Call him a demigod. Remember, he killed the bull of heaven. Is this true? In the city of Uruk or Uruk or Uru. Remember about Ishtar. So this is where we're at in the story today. The Igigis was mad. They didn't want to do the work anymore. So they said, let's make man. So the Igigis stand down and then they go on to make man. So Enki. So we have the ruler of the Igigi. We'll give you his name. Anzu was his name. He's the head of the Igigis. So the head, there's two men on earth that's command, which is Anu's son. One is Enki and one is Enlil. One is commander and one is lord. When you read the Lord God, try to understand who's the commander and who's lord, okay? One is ruling water and one is ruling land, okay?
An ear.
We set up a place in Baghdad or in Eridu. Find out where Eridu was along the Euphrates River. And find out what
Nippur
was too as well. Go into Mesopotamia and find out about Eridu, run by Enki, who lives in the Abzu. And in the Abzu or somewhere around these places where they had this place called Eden or Eden or Eden or whatever it was called. Eden is what we know it as. So in Eden or in Eden, they decided that this is where we're gonna make and rear these things called men. They're gonna live here in this Eden. So they made them and they made them. They stated they did all kind of A and B and C to put them together. Till they said they had to use their own blood, their own semen, their own fertilization, their own female body they had to find. Remember, this is in myth, but this is what they have stated there. So it looked like in doing all of this, when these creatures came to be, and they choose the best one to be, they claim that something went and lived with them. Some sort of impregnation is happening, or something along these lines is happening. But the high things that made these men is going to go and live with this men and these women, and this is going to cause a problem. And they also had kids. So they had kids, so some of the kids were special, men of old or men of renown. But it was different. Some of the men in charge was definitely planting seeds, it seems like, here and there. So we state that the sons of God was living with the daughter of men. So they say, Enlil said this is an abomination and he's going to destroy all of this. Now the sons of God, which was living with men, they had kids. Some were special. All of these people were special, right down to the Christ. They had immaculate birth, or birth that was not onto this earth, right? So whose seeds is these? You know about immaculate birth. So when they did that, it was gonna cause a kind of corruption. And it claimed that the father had to beat them at their game by get rid of all of their flesh from out of the earth, because all flesh in the earth now, they stated, was corrupt. So being that all flesh was corrupt, the things that was in Eden get run out of Eden. They had to go and live their own life, and they had their own children. They had two kids,
and one of the children killed his brother, his own brother.
So one of their sons killed their brother. And when he killed his brother, it looked like one of those seeds was a different seed. I don't know. Because there's many seeds that's going to come down the line. Many children, special seeds, just like Noah. He was special. When he born, his eyes were shiny like the sun. When he born at night, when he opened his eyes lighted the room.
Noah was special. Enoch was taken up to heaven, special as well. Enoch. So what is really going on with the sons of men? The flesh became corrupt. We had giants in the earth. There's divinity between the sons of God and the children of men. So they form abnormal babies. That's why we found things in the Bible, like in Deuteronomy, we ran into the Nephilims with Moses, which those was claimed to be the sons of Anak. But the men who was in charge seems like to be Anunnaki. But we run into these people in the book. Not like men, taller than men, over men. Call them the Superman or the man that is above the normal man. They claim that when they had the children on earth, the children wanted to go to heaven. Enoch went into heaven, Adam went into heaven, Seth, like he went into heaven too. Elijah went into heaven. Ra, who they call it, Atum Ra, which Enki and those guys radio back. But he had a son named Marduk or something like this, or Marduk or Marduk. It looked like Marduk was Ra, and he built the tower just to link back with his father up there. You know, the son of Cush, right? They were mighty men. Remember, everything was like abomination, and they needed it stopped. So if you're coming into heaven, it looked like you're coming into the back door, and they're stating to don't come. So we're gonna break the bridge to come to heaven from earth. It's time to us to understand that Nubruki was a bridge to Nibiru. The water here is female, and the water up there is male. When they come together and copulate and coagulate, this is how we got this thing called Hachino, called spirit into bodies. Because the way how your body is built is about 70% or more water. When the spirit hovered over the water, which is the two waters, it created life, which is a union of harmony. Life is not just because you're here living and you can smell or you can see or taste things. That's not just life. Your life is forever. And because your life is forever, you are almost like an eternal God. All you hear down here relating to is your senses. When your senses stop, now then what? I sense they want to do this. I sense they want to go here. I sense they want, if I do this, I sense if I, so we just follow his sense, right? So that's what we're living by. So everything was surmounted into sense. You feel this, you hear that, you smell that, you think this, you know this. This is sense. So is there anything beyond sense? Of course. Sense is only in this realm. Study the emerald tablet of Ningis Zeta, Hiti or Jehuti or Toph. Remember, the doctors are studying his books to go into your body to cut you to do surgery. You see the snake on the pole with the ambulance. Study these people's books. This is ancient. The anatomy was given to us by them. So study the anatomy. Nobody can go here without understanding how the anatomy chart works. So he had a son named Tut and a son too named Asclepius. These are all Asclepius studies, or Anhotep. Check out these guys. I'm ready to go into the stories now, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ras Marcus live at www.rastacolony.biz, and we're here today to find out the cities that was before the Genesis. Sorani, Euphora, Nipper, Sipper, Arukuya, Sorani, Euphora, Oxumite Kingdom, Oxum, Susa, Necken, Telbrook, Largash, Bad Tiberia, Anshar, Naditu Community, Acadia, Millennium BCE, Lasser, Aruk. Ladies and gentlemen, Don't take my word for it. Open these tablets. Go to the computer and study 12 tablet of creation. Or get the autobiography of
Enki.
when they came here, when they're coming here, the gold will be transported in celestial ships. So the plan was wise. It seems like it would work.
Enki
Asks who's gonna command the settlers in the Abzu. Anzu asks who's gonna command the ships of the landing places of the Amzu. So Enlil says, let Anu come to Earth and make all of this decision. Who's gonna be in command? So it was done. Nigel was chosen as the pilot. So he came down from Nibiru to Earth.
Enki
Provided boats to receive these Anunnakis from in the water. As soon as he saw his
father
Anu, he bowed to him. He says, my dearest son, my oldest son. He took Anu to Eridu, where he met Enlil and Enki. Enlil received his
father
warmly. Let how one respect his father respectfully.
Alalu
Was lacking in respect, but the dinner was served to the king of Nibiru, his wife, Antu. He went into the Abzu to explore the area to see the amount of gold that was down there, and he was perplexed because the gold was not going to be easy to extract. You have to go down with major equipment. So
Enki
was in charge of making the tools and getting the instructions possible and across.
Many Earth years passed by. They got spaceships in Eridu. They built port. Remember, is Enki that founded Eridu. Many camps they have to create in this region, and we're gonna make a place called Eden. But Enlil was enraged because Enki is gonna look after the gold. How are you gonna build a place called Eden? Enki stands out because he discovered Abzu. May he be the Lord of Eden, may he be the Lord of the Abzu. Enlil wasn't pleased. Enki was the firstborn. Enlil was the illegitimate son of Antu, the Queen of Heaven.
Ladies and gentlemen, these are just myths, and we're studying the myths so we can pull it together so we can have a greater understanding of the King James Version of the Bible. The Illuma Elish is stating, and we want to understand what the text beyond the Illuma Elish have to say. We're not going to just stop at Bible or paper or papyrus. We go into the stuff that is baked onto stone. Yes, we're going to stick to the things that's ancient and not so much to the things that's modern. So we go into the archives to dust off these tablets to get a reading on this
3,600 years.
Shar that the Anunnaki came down to reap the gold here on the earth, claiming that they had a hole in their ozone layer and they needed metatonic gold
To polarize
to grind down to put in their world.
into their atmosphere.
Remember, they had the tablet of destiny.
Please try to understand pyramid wars. The crystals that was in the pyramid that Enlil and Enki went to war, and the pyramid inside used to light up like a rainbow. Pyramid wars, try to understand what happened there, guys. These stones are like precious stones, stones of destiny. These stones can change time, just one word said and things can appear. So these stones was removed out of the pyramid, or that what was written in pyramid wars. The stones was disabled from the best of places that was there. That's what we understanding. functioned by dislocating all of the crystals that was all over this place. I'm telling you, these stones were so precious, like ruby and different types from different planet, different sizes. Remember, the inside of the pyramid, the light inside used to be like a rainbow, natural light shining through via a crystal. Try to understand the halls of Amente as well, and understand how the crystals used to pulsate down there, and the halls used to be like blue, rolls of blue. Try to understand.
Remember, they had the tablet of destiny. This is the same thing that happened time after time. That is why these things are myth. Anzu were delivering the ship to
Abgal. Abgal, Abgal.
It wasn't long before Anzu took the weapons of terror, it claimed. These ships was state of the art then, and if they're still around, they'll still be state of the art today. Be made from metal. Do you guys remember there's this thing called the
Antikythera mechanism?
Was found in some place named
Antikythera.
Right? But that machine have gears on it spinning around. Where did that machine, where did it?
Antikythera mechanism.
Where did that came from?
Antikythera.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ras Marcus live at www.rastacolony.biz. And thank you guys for tuning in with me today. The study is going to be quite far in the distance. We're going back beyond, we're going all the way into Mesopotamia. And we want to find the oldest cities that we can really find in this time zone beyond the Genesis. We're going to go into Nippur today. Right, we're gonna go into Eridu, we're gonna go into Baghdad, we're gonna go into Iraq. We want to find out about the ziggurats, we want to find out about the pyramid wars, and how did all of this started? How did it start down here? And the myth, guys, all of these stories to tell one big story. Quran, King James,
Bhagavad Gita, Indian texts.
India,
The Mahabharata.
we want to find out what is all of these myths in China and all around the Middle East and the African story. They always tell us about beings that's coming from out of this world.
Celestial, terrestrial, interplanet beings, intergalactic beings, galactic beings from before our time zone.
So now, these beings, they seems that there's something that they fear, and they like seems that there's a creator above these beings, and we have to find out about the creator, and we have to give thanks to him. That's why Toph said that you must find out all things cunning in the earth and find out how things work down here, and for what reason, and by whom.
And the will to find out about destiny, faith, and the conclusion.
So this is gonna relate and take us back to the
Father.
or to the, if not to the
Father.
it would take us back to the creator of all.
Back to the bright light, the true source. We're seeking the light. Tesla says to be light, L-I-G-H-T, study light. His gender, testosterone or the estrogen, wrong or right, left or right, up or down, so above, so below. Sun and stars work together, illuminaries, light, planet, bodies.
Whether it was a feminine energy or masculine energy, it seems like it was both energy working together. 'Cause wherever we go, we find the masculine gender and we find the galactic male and the galactic female. Remember, the word sex is just a word to do with male or female. That's just within the earth. We have no other word, but the word is gender. Masculine or feminine. The testosterone or the estrogen. That is what it is. Two of these form night and day to make one. Moon, sun and star. Sun and the stars work together. Sun and moon together, one. Mother and father, one. So above, so below. One. Right? We find the one coming together to make the two. And the two must be together in harmony, and the two can't be two of the same. Opposites attract. So you have to be opposite. Ladies and gentlemen, have you found these cities? These things is all of this illuminate, all of these is related. They're all one thing in one study. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in today. This is Ras Marcus Live again at www.rascolony.biz, biz.biz. Okay, we want to know how long is this Shar. One Shar is seeming to be really, really long. It's seeming to be 36,000 years. That's 36,000 years. That's one of their Earth year in their Earth cycle, where they're from. So what is 1 year on Earth to them?
3,600 years.
Earth years.
Rate me and just let me know what you all think about the program.
And it was nice being here for everybody today.
Thank you. Septution?
Make sure you get the Mother Nature and study Egyptology. Yeah. Make sure you know the Sumerian texts. Yeah. Got to study the 12 books of creation. Yeah.
Illuma Ilish. Alexi living.
Little that we know, with the little that we know. Life's put out to maximum satisfaction. Yo, busting the guns won't help when you make blood run. Yo, look up and see who you hurting. Know if it is a loved one. You're gone and you're wrong. You've done wrong. You have harmed mankind. You have to ease up with the war and the crime. Get to study the 12 books of creation. Yeah. Get to study love is what I'm promoting. Yo, put on the bombs, put on the guns, put on the grenades, put on all the things that I can bring put on the aspect, put on the guns and put on the knives. I told you already to evacuate these things. Show love, show empathy, kiss a girl, hug somebody, love a person, get an animal, get a pet, do some swimming, play some sports, alleviate stress, do some meditation, listen to Rastafari, make sure you tap into the red, gold and green. Yeah, that is what I'm telling you. Emperor Selassie, he was the highest emperor. Get to know this. Click, 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 clack. Make sure you get the Mother Nature and study Egyptology. Yeah. Make sure you know the Sumerian texts. Yeah. Sumer.
Visit us at
www.rastacolony.biz.